I feel like I'm in a police lineup here. But I'm not guilty, and I know Faith isn't, and I don't think that fellow is because he's part of the fuzz. Our guest on Omelet today is Judd Hirsch, who plays the title role of Delvecchio, Sergeant Dominic Delvecchio. New police series, of which big things are expected and are happening on CBS. I've watched you in a lot of plays and a lot of stuff on television. I get the impression, not only professionally, Judd, but also personally, that you're a volatile, dynamic kind of person, that you feel you're very expressive.
Yeah, I was born that way. In order to live as long as I have in a city like New York, I think, yeah, I had to be, particularly.
What about your upbringing? Were you really brought up right in the midst of the city? Went to public schools there?
Yeah, I lived in every place you can possibly imagine in New York. The only place I didn't live was Staten Island. Nobody knows where that is anyway, so it doesn't make any difference.
If you had kids, would you want to try that same bringing up with them? You do have children?
Yeah, no, I don't think I would want them to live in a city like that. I mean, it's a great city, but and I'm really glad that I come from there because I think I gained quite a bit of knowledge from the place, you know. And now I'd like to move to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Use a little of it there.
There's not room for two Jack Lords over there. That's the trouble.
Well, yeah, we would have to get rid of Jack.
Are you going to be a street cop?
Yeah, in terms of where I work, yeah, we work in the street. But it's not a cop on a beat. Of course, it's a detective. It's a big city, but it's really a suburb of a big city where we operate out of, where the precinct is. But we really got a lot of air in this series. In other words, we go quite a few places. We're doing one. We've done one where we're in the desert. We have to go and retrieve a fugitive from the desert, and we've got one of those old-time sheriffs out there. He's going to keep us from doing it too.
How are you going to make your cop different from all the other police and detective stories on television?
I don't think anyone's like me.
That's a good answer.
Well, you're a compassionate guy, for one thing, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm not Greek. So so it's going to be different to begin with, you know. Yeah, he's going to be compassionate. Well, compassion is something that probably everybody would say that they have, no matter what they're playing. But it's a kind of a vulnerable, involved cop. In other words, he's an easy touch for those who have a problem,
right.
And they call him a bleeding heart.
You know, they say really in actual cases, in actual police work, it's really a rather dull, slow grind, that the real fantastic cases and the exciting catch the thief and all that really doesn't happen that often.
That's right, but on weekly television,
it has
to happen that way.
Listen, let's get down to the real stuff. What kind of girls do you like, Judd?
Well, I like them in court, as civil case girls, I call them. You know, those dull people that sit in the docks, and I can find them there. Now, I was just answering your last question. We cannot do cases like that. The girls... you mean in real life?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take them.
What kind?
Oh, what kind? Oh, that's different.
What do they mean by that?
The kind that don't run away. You know what I mean?
Not exactly.
Well, they don't get scared off. You don't have to stand there for just about 2 minutes. Then I can do something. But
usually they run within 2 minutes?
Yeah, because there's a terrible identification problem that I have. I have to play parts like this, you know, and you can't walk side by side with a girl when you're wearing a gun. You know what I mean? Any kind of girls.
I don't know if we really follow the trend of that. You, Milton?
I have no idea what the last 2 minutes have meant here.
Well, at this point in my life, I call them women, which is a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah. They can take care of themselves, hopefully.
What's your lifestyle like? No, you're a bachelor. Evidently like it that way.
My lifestyle. Okay. Right now, I'm a bit of a traveler because I go back and forth between New York and California. I don't give up either. When I'm not working, I go back to New York. I've got a place up in the country in the mountains. I like to build things. I've been always pretty active, you know, physically active in my life. I've always played some kind of sport. But it's a kind of a hectic one. You know what I mean? It's not very much rest in it.
What about friends? Other stars, celebrities, people in the showbiz?
Yeah, you can't get away from that. Yeah, I mean, not stars, no. Most of the people that I know are people that come from where I started. In other words, the beginnings of theater. I'm very interested now in the beginnings of theater because I'm part of a theater group back in New York that is might be 6 or 7 years old, but it's still at the very beginning, and I like to be part of it.
You've been associated with some very good quality television in the past, some movies. you were in Serpico, it certainly was.
Yeah. I was in Serpico. If you blinked, you didn't see me.
I wanted to ask you what role you had, now I'm afraid to.
There were 85 to 90 people who were playing policemen in that one. Various hats, coats, jackets, guns, badges, and whatnot. I was one of those with a hat, coat, badge, no gun, and one line.
What was it?
The line was, it's Lopez and De Niro.
How many times did you have to say it?
I said it once.
First
Yeah,
take?
yeah. The director
Very
was
good.
kind of a guy who loved to take one take. Did you love it? Did you love it? Did you love it? It's on.
Did you ever, now you're going to be the head man in a series. That's pretty heady stuff because, you know, there aren't many actors that get their own series. Did you ever think, as a struggling young actor, that you would get to that eminence?
No, I never did. Never did. See, I consider myself a character actor. I always thought I'd be in support of somebody else. What they don't know is I'm still a character actor. However, I did a show called The Law, in which the character came from the midst of the piece to emerge as a sort of a star. He really wasn't a star. He merely was able to get through this entire system called the criminal justice system and save one man.
Right.
And that's what it was about. So, the performance was very necessary. I mean, a big enough performance in it for them to consider me as a lead on any series. And I'm grateful for it, of course, you know.
We wish you a great deal of success, and thank you for talking with us. We're going to come back to that question about the women you like, too, eventually. Thank you for being with us on Omelet.
You're welcome.